So I'm here with Paul Burnham, the founder of the Barmy Army on the Everywhere We Go podcast. Paul, it's 30 years since the first Ashes tour in 1994, 1995. We're here on the Everywhere We Go podcast to talk about those 30 years, but also to answer your questions that the members have wrote in, the people that are travelling have wrote in to ask Paul, and then to ask Adam later on as well. So thank you for joining us. Starting with the obvious, the first one really that we've got to get stuck into is from Tony Lewis. He's asked to find out what your best memory is of an Ashes tour in Australia.
Well, it's obviously going to be in the crowd. And it's got to be Perth 06 when we lost the Ashes. We lost it around 1 o'clock. We were singing Super Fred's Barmy Army as we lost the Ashes. And we were still singing it 4 hours later when the security staff were questioning when we would leave. We said, what time would the game normally finish? They said 6 o'clock. And I said, that's probably the time we will leave then. So it just went on and on and on, a real show of unity, very much depicts what Barmy Army is all about, right? Which is, whatever the result, it's about supporting the team. And although they got absolutely stuffed on that, it's a 5-0 series. Perth was a big thrashing. Gilchrist started smashing sixes all out the ground. But the way that everybody responded, sat together, probably 150 of us all in a stand. We weren't ready to go home at 1 o'clock, and we still weren't ready to go home at the end. That's my favourite memory because it just depicted what it's all about, 100%.
And that is the ethos of the Barmy Army, isn't it? That's what you created and over the 30 years, and you've always been very strong on the fact that we're always supporting the team no matter what, through thick and thin.
Yeah, but it's pointless otherwise, Chris. The whole point of it is to support the England cricket team right from the word go, back in 94-5 and the next tour 98-9 and 2002-3. We won a test match in each one. We won in Adelaide in 94-5 and 98-9 we won in Melbourne. Then we won in Sydney in 2-3. So that one test match was always enough because you realised the boys could actually beat Australia over 5 days. And although we didn't win the series, it was still, we knew the boys were giving 100%. And we would always give 100% back. That's what it's all about. So, yeah, it's the ethos of it, as you know.
Quite right. And 3,500 people travelling over with us for this tour will be brought into that same experience. Now, you've been everywhere with the Barmy Army. You've been everywhere in Australia many, many, many times. Mm-hmm. If I had to put you on the spot, like Craig Marriott has put you on the spot, to ask you, what is your favourite Ashes venue and why?
All day long, Adelaide. Adelaide, because that's where it started for us. The win in Adelaide in 94-5, the merchandise started there, the players came back and we celebrated with them. So great memories. Adelaide is an amazing... is it a city? I'm not quite sure. It's certainly the smallest of the places we go to. South Australia is great, so much to do around there. But the ground itself, the grass bank, which I believe is still going to be there, the original scoreboard, and then there's the Ascot-like corporate bit over the back there now as well for those that want to get a different feeling, if you like. I'm sure most of our guys will just be watching every ball, but there is that other bit of Adelaide as well, the casino nearby, a local pub that we all go to and fire up ready for the afternoon session, a few of us. But Adelaide all day long.
Absolutely. And we'll be working with a new pub called the Home Ground, which is right at the end of the bridge. So you can literally see the stadium, which it will be our HQ. And it's absolutely brilliant.
What about the cathedral? What's happened to the cathedral? Everyone will want to know.
We'll be in the cathedral as well, don't we? We'll be in both the Home Ground and cathedral. Cathedral at lunchtime, Home Ground after play.
Brilliant.
Where the events will be as well. So that will be a very, very special place. Will it be a bit strange for you, 30 years on, to be back in Adelaide where it all began? Will you be looking over with Dave sat on the bank thinking, blimey?
We'll definitely be sat on the bank, that's for sure. No, it won't be strange, Chris, because, the only strange thing is it's 8 years, not 4, because of COVID. Yeah. So, it sounds a long time, 30 years, but it used to flash by just because it was a lifestyle, particularly for me. So the 4 years always came far too quickly, and it seemed like it was only yesterday that you were there. And so, the 8 years bit is going to be really interesting because the world has changed a lot. Yeah. Not just with COVID, but the political correctness and everything else. So it should be... the 8 years could be a big difference to usual. So it might seem a bit strange.
Can't wait. Cannot wait to get down to Adelaide. Now, moving on, we've got a question from Lucy here. Lucy Booth. This is a good one. Who is the most liked and disliked Australian cricketer, in your opinion, of all time?
Well, Ponting's got to be the most liked
Yeah?
because he's lost 3 Ashes series, so we love him. The most disliked, Warner, all day long.
I like the
complete idiot.
The reason Ponting's liked is because we've had the...
Well, he's lost
One
3
up on
Ashes
him.
series, so we like him. I actually think he's a great pundit.
Yeah.
I think he speaks an awful lot of sense. You know, he's an amazing batter. Obviously, Joe's just taken over from him, but massive respect for him as a cricketer. And I guess it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but, you know, he has lost 3 Ashes series as well. So he's been in some of the tight series. So
Yeah.
I like that. I actually like the guy. I'd love to meet him. Never met him.
Yeah.
I really don't want to meet David Warner under any circumstances. Thank you very much.
So, yeah, I think we could probably guess what you were going to say for the most disliked. Now, going to segue on to Wayne's question. Wayne Thomas, thank you very much for the question. Why is there such a unique rivalry between us and Australia? What makes it so unique? Is it the people? Is it how close the competition's been over the years? What do you think, a man that's experienced it all?
Beating the Aussies at sport is everything because the way that they are an outdoor culture, as they're always very quick to remind us as they have done most times over there, apart from 10-11, they normally do win the Ashes. We always win the song contest, obviously. But I think that rivalry and beating the Aussies is everything to us. And it goes back to the history, all joking aside. Obviously, we can go back a lot further than them. But I think that rivalry in the sports field, but we're also brothers in arms, don't forget. So it's something I always said. That's why there's massive rivalry in the ground. And it can sometimes get to quite a heated level. But from my experience, and let's hope it carries on that way, there's never any trouble, never any fighting, as you might find to be honest, in some of the football games that could happen when the rivalry gets to the level that it does. But I love the fact that once that is over, we retreat back to the HQs and the events and everything else we do. And any Aussies you come across, they love the Barmy Army. And we love them. But then when you get back into the ground the next day, it's off we go again. And I think it's unique in that they have about 20 times more people than us, and we still out-sing them, which is quite unique as well, to be that bad at singing. So that's the rivalry in a nutshell. We're brothers in arms. We want to beat them because they're so confident, arrogant about their sporting prowess. And we always win the song contest, which makes it great fun.
So you talk about the song contest. Now, my mind goes straight...
But it's not actually a contest, actually. That's an insult to contests, isn't it? They have the same songs that they had 30 years ago. They squeak when they try and sing, and long may that continue.
Good to hear, and I'm sure it will continue to this winter. But you talk about the songs. Now, 10-11, I was watching it on TV like many people who'd be listening to this podcast. What was it like to be there on Boxing Day with the famous story of there's 96,000 there at the start, and by the end of play there's 23,000 and they're all English? What was that like? Because is that probably the best single Ashes day you've ever witnessed in Australia, that one day?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it was for most people. I actually wasn't there for quite a bit of that day. That's another story. I was picking up Beefy, who had the Mitchell Johnson song, which is another story. But I saw enough of it to realise, and obviously saw everyone's... I mean, it was the most amazing day. And most people that were there for the whole day will tell you it's the best day's cricket. And even though I only saw probably a couple of hours of it, in total, it was an extraordinary day and an extraordinary test. And the series was also, second to none. To win the series in Melbourne and then go on to Sydney afterwards was amazing.
Very good. And let's hope for more of the same again this winter. Now, we've got a question here from Tom Allen. This might be a bit tricky because you've done so many events in Australia, but can you pinpoint your favourite Barmy Army event you've ever had in Australia?
Easy. Christmas Day, 10-11. The Australian cricket team, so we were in the Melbourne Casino. We were in one of the big conference rooms right next to the toilets. The Australian team were in the conference room next to us, so 2 away from the toilet. So every time they needed to go to the toilet, they need to come past us. So once we'd all said Happy Christmas and we got into the serious bit of singing non-stop, with them walking by, having to go to the loo, and we opened the doors so they heard everything. And by all accounts, a few of the Aussie boys said the next day they couldn't get the Barmy Army songs out of their head. And that was obviously the day before the Boxing Day massacre, right? So
Wow.
that was the Christmas day before it. So maybe it was interlinked. I don't know.
Talk about the
But we
12th.
certainly got on top of them, and they had to listen to all the songs for Christmas Day. Lovely.
You see all these football fans on social media going to opposite teams' hotels and setting off fire alarms before big Champions League games. Well, actually, the secret is just book a function room and sing your heart out. Maybe we could.
I wish we could say we'd planned that, Chris, but we hadn't. It was just poor planning by probably the Melbourne Casino, actually, because I know the Cricket Australia were disappointed that we were next to them, and then obviously once we opened the doors, any time they went past. So it wasn't our planning, but it worked out really nicely.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah.
Good. And we've got 1,500 people in for Christmas dinner in the Crown Palladium. You've done it in there quite a few times. What can the people who have booked onto that expect?
An amazing day. I mean, Christmas Day is normally obviously family. Everyone will be missing their family, particularly the guys and girls that have been over there from, maybe from the start. And it feels like a proper Christmas because quite often in a sunny climate, Christmas is very different. But in the casino, it's an amazing experience. The trumpet, I'm sure, will be playing songs. Everyone will be singing songs. I think the Christmas hymns get adjusted to Barmy Army hymns instead, which is what's always happened. It would just be an amazing day with 1,500 people instead of 4 to 8 on a family Christmas. So very different, but very recommended.
I had a look yesterday on the Guinness World Record whilst I was at the cricket just to see what the biggest ever single serving of Christmas dinner is, and it's 1,612. Frustrating, but we can't fit any more than 1,500
Really? Is that
people
all?
in. Yeah, I thought we could have set a Guinness World Record, but we might have to think again about that.
I think we need to work on that, don't we?
We do. We absolutely do. Now, staying on events, you've experienced some amazing events, and I think the most unique ones are when the players get involved. And
yep.
You've got some great stories about when the players have come down at the end of tour to Sydney and had a party with the Barmy Army. Can you just share how unique that is and why that happens?
No, because what goes on tour stays on tour.
So you have to be there. Is that what you're saying?
You do have to be there. No, there's been loads of times when the boys have, particularly at the end of a tour where they can relax. Most of it is a bit of a blur because by the time they join us, everyone's had a few beers during the cricket and at the start. No, but the players have been, since the start 30 years ago, they've been very appreciative of the support. And who wouldn't be, right? It's, singing their name all afternoon and getting behind them, whatever the result. I think the players are always keen, it's a very British thing. If you look at every afternoon, on a Saturday afternoon in the football, every single time the supporters get recognised by the players, and that definitely happens on the cricket as well. But they can't do it can't do it every night. So at the end of the tour, there's been some great memories.
Very good.
Players mixing with the fans.
Very good. It's so unique, cricket, when you compare it to football and other sports. Like the access to the players, they're part of the tour, aren't they? And you see them, you're spending 6 weeks in the same place.
And also the ex-players, right? There's quite a lot of ex-players that are involved either in the media or with tour groups. And, and cricket fans are, they love the opportunity to speak to current players if they get the chance, but ex-players and people in the media. And obviously on our tour, Chris, we've got some great names, Dan Norcross and hopefully Ishigawa and a few others that people see on TV and will have the chance. Michael Vaughan.
Yeah, Darren Lehman.
So there we are. You're reeling them off, but that's great. And I think people always want to hear what their view is on stuff and get it from the horse's mouth is great. And that's very much what's been created now with the travel group.
Absolutely. Now, Paul Murphy, thank you for that question on what to expect for Christmas Day. But he's also asked another question. Now, this is a useful one because you are a man that's travelled on a lot of aeroplanes. How would you advise someone to fight jet lag who's flying all the way to Australia?
Try and get there a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And be ready for day one. And whether you have to try and work out the time difference and go to bed at the appropriate time and then try and get it. Or just go all the way through it and don't sleep for 5 days, one or the other.
I once, an England cricketer who has to remain unnamed for this podcast, he said the only way to fight Australian jet lag is when you land on day one, go out and have a really big night and make sure that you have a really big night and then you'll sleep through. And by the time you wake up in the morning, you might have a little hangover, but you'll be accustomed to the time.
Well, listen, it sounds right, mate. I mean, particularly for that first Ashes test, the excitement level is extraordinary. So, yeah, having a few beers so you can actually sleep. I mean, most people, I think a lot of the people that are coming on this tour are going on their first trip, right? So the excitement levels will be high. So have a few beers, go to one of our events and get some sleep ready for Jerusalem at 5 to 11.
Absolutely. Now, we have a surprise for you. We have come up with the tour designs for this tour.
Ah, okay.
And we have a shirt design for each tour. You'll be pleased to know. Now,
each venue, you mean?
For each venue, yeah. Each venue, we have a different design, as well as one main tour design as well. And we want to just get your instant reaction to it. You don't need to give us much. So there's Perth for your first look. I think the team will overlay some images of these designs now.
Like it. You want to mark out of 10?
Yeah.
7.
Okay. And moving on to Brisbane.
I do like that, actually. The Gabotoir, yeah. 8. Like that.
Yeah. Now I'm going to save Adelaide because I think I should. Melbourne, you like Santa?
Tremendous, mate. Yep, love it. 8.
And then Sydney, a bit of a bridge action there, little surfer. Could be me, actually.
Again, 8. Loving these, mate.
And the 30th anniversary in Adelaide.
Now, there's a couple of really good-looking boys on that 30 years ago. 10 out of 10 for that one, I reckon.
I thought we might get that response.
Yeah. Didn't know there was a lighthouse. Yeah, tremendous. Like it. Thank you very much for putting a picture of me 30 years ago.
There we go. There we go. They're great. No, thank you to Luke for doing them. Can't wait to get them on sale for everyone. Now, one last question for you, Paul. You know the Barmy Army really well. I know the Barmy Army really well. But there's a lot of people out there that are coming for their first time and they only know what they've seen online and they've never been on a tour before. Now, you're the most educated man in the room to ask this question to by a country mile in the world. What advice would you give to someone who's traveling for the first time? It might be their bucket list, it might be their anniversary or honeymoon. Whatever it is, it's normally a really big thing that they're coming out to the Ashes for. What advice would you give them?
Make sure you chat to as many people as you can, so get an experience. Don't feel you have to stick with the first group or person that you chat to. Do try and spread your love, if you like, with other people. Yeah. Don't feel just because other people have been on tours before you that they're cliquey or being rude to you. Once you do go on tour with someone, there's a bond that builds. And I've seen that over the years many times, including marriages. Quite a lot of Barmy Army marriages, a few Barmy Army divorces as well after that marriage. A few divorces because of the Barmy Army tour, but let's stay on the positives. So yeah, just mix it around, and you are part of a massive family. The Barmy Army family has been around for 30 years. It's built to the level it is now, which is quite extraordinary, the number of people we're taking, and that's over 3,000 people on the official travel package, but there'll be a lot of independent people that will also be Barmy Army. There'll be a lot of expats that are based over in Australia that will also be part of it. So very much, chat away to as many different people as you can. Jump in and out of whether it's the events or the HQ or whatever it is. And if you need a break, go home knowing that when you wake up and go down to breakfast, it all starts again. It's really about pacing yourself and not taking anything too seriously other than the singing and making sure we get behind the boys. And enjoy it. I mean, it is an amazing experience that becomes pretty addictive, to be honest. And fully expect to be booking up for South Africa next year, I'd suggest.
And you're going to be there for the first part of the tour, Paul, and I'm sure you'd be wanting people to come up to you and tell you how great it is or asking you about the experience. So if you are there and you see Paul, go and have a chat to him.
Absolutely. I like talking. That's for sure.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the Everywhere We Go podcast, Paul. And we
Pleasure.
will see you in sunny Perth.
Definitely. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.